Of course, no place would be complete without showing a little bit about where I come to spend a fair amount of our time studying the Word, studying about God, drawing closer to Him and the influences He has on my life. Then would certainly be our backyard, where I come out here in the early mornings in the Idaho sunlight and just to be influenced, just to sit with God in and through the midst of all of this. And I couldn't ignore what that molding that God was doing before I was a follower. Most of my life I haven't been a follower. And that influence, the integrity of the business world that it had on me, was part of Christ's wisdom in bringing me to where I am and to where He's leading me to go, the influence that He had. And since I'd received my MDiv from Tozer Theological Seminary, it only made sense that there was a fair amount of Tozer influence as we looked at the books. One of them you can see here on the table, of just a sampling of some of the books that have influenced me over the course of this time, with knowledge of the holy as well as the Incredible Christian and other titles from Dr. Tozer. But as you can see, the Bible is the hub of all of this. It's the center where all these other books are pointing, are directing, are leading. And we've got Augustine, we have Bonhoeffer, not listed there, but in my iPad we've got St. John of the Cross and Teresa of Avila. Authors that A.W. Tozer himself recommended, several of them, that be part of a Christian's reading and part of their formation, and that ultimately will influence those theologies. And what I pulled out of what Dr. Tozer, that list that he had, was there was a fair amount of looking backward in order to look forward. I think that's been certainly an influence to see what the Christian authors had written all throughout their culture, their time, the influences that the cross was having in and through the culture in which they were living, and then writing about that. So this idea of looking backward in order to look forward, and how those views were shaping the faith in them. And I think this is, summed up by Tozer in his quote in Knowledge of the Holy right at the beginning, is what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. How are we viewing God? How are we seeing the truth of who Jesus is as revealed in Scripture? And that's going to certainly form and shape us with the rest of these wonderful authors and 100 other books that I couldn't fit out here on the table, of pointing to God and really helping us see that revelation in Scripture. And that's leads me into the theology that has kind of formed from all of this.